everyone, I'm Bella, and thank you for joining me for the very first Frog Food, which is a podcast slash Speedpaint slash commentary video created by and hosted by me. So yeah, if you want to see more of my art, you can follow me on Instagram at Bella of My Froggy Stuff. Today we have a very, very special guest, the HBO Craftopia judge for season 1. She is a crafter extraordinaire and creator of the 2 million plus subscriber channel My Froggy Stuff. It's Toya!
Hello! You know, I love being introduced on my own channel.
Yeah, whatever. So, well, this is my very first series I've ever, produced myself, which is kind of crazy to think about because I've been doing YouTube since I was, 3, so. But no time like the present, I guess.
To learn new skills, right?
Yeah, to start my own thing.
And I really love this idea of having a conversation while watching you draw. This is totally new. It's kind of like gaming, but not.
I know. It's like drawing gaming, which is not a thing, but now it's a thing.
Now it's a thing. You created it.
Exactly. I'm the creator now, guys. A trendsetter.
For drawing gaming.
Yes. Or drawing commentary. You could call it that.
All right.
Or a commentary channel, but it's drawing.
You're the creator. We can call it whatever you want.
Exactly. So, let's talk about the first video. This is my first video that, I did Fast and Horses, but this is different.
I produced and directed.
Yeah, I'm the producer and director now. They're all working for me now. So it was very easy to make. Surprisingly, the speed paint was very easy for me to draw. It was very peaceful. I had a really fun time doing it, which is kind of hard because I'm usually so focused on making it look good that I forget to enjoy it, which is can be really, really stressful. You know?
It is. When you're doing art and creating art, it's very important to love what you're doing. And it's very easy for it to become more of a task than an enjoyment.
Yeah. So. 9 times out of 10 I'll draw something and be like, oh my god, it looks good. And then I'll be like, oh my god, this is trash. 5 seconds later. We're watching it right there, by the way. That's why we keep looking over there.
So every once in a while I just go over here, I'm just tapping the screen to keep it open.
Because the iPad is turning off, yeah. But yeah, so for you, when your creative process, does it ever become cumbersome? You feel why am I doing this right now? I don't want to do this anymore.
It definitely becomes cumbersome at some times because I've been doing this for 10 years. So I know you say you've been doing it for a long time because you were little, but you were just playing.
Yeah, I'll say I've been doing this for a long time, but I also at the same time wasn't doing anything.
Well, you were doing something. You were just having fun. Yeah. We're let's make a doll show, and you were just
if I said I don't want to do it today, I could not do it today, but you had to do it
Yes.
Yeah.
I was well, I guess we're gonna write her out of the script. But sometimes I think, because crafting and I create such, different things every single time, I never know what I'm going to actually experience when I go into a project. Every project is completely different. And sometimes it's when you keep hitting obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, it does get I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. But you know what? You can't stop, because then I think to myself, am I really going to let this doll kitchen defeat me?
Right. It does feel, you get this overwhelming sense of defeat. Before the speed paint idea, I had an idea to make a webtoon type thing and a speed paint of that.
Which looks so cool, by the way.
It did look cool, but I got to I was drawing the backgrounds first, and then I got to the people, and there were some scenes where I honestly just didn't have the knowledge to, even with reference photos, I was how do I even go about drawing this? And I was so stressed, and I was well, I can't stop, and I did stop.
Well, you didn't stop, because you did come to me and you were hey, this is totally stressing me out. And so I was okay, take a break. You can always come back to it. So whenever your project is insane and is stressing you out, who can work really well with that kind of stress and that kind of pressure? Especially with art, Mm-hmm. So take a break. Your
mental, where you're at mentally is such a defining factor in how well the work comes out, which kind of sucks because imagine going to art school, which I kind of want to go to art school, and I'll be probably so stressed because school is so stressful.
You don't know. You can't assume right now.
Honestly, because I'm not a painter, I'm probably going to just do abstract for everything. It's gonna be palette knives and squigglies. I'll have a color palette and just stick to that.
And then watch someone who's mastered in abstract art be you know what, this is not abstract art.
I was you're gonna tell Okay. But
so you gotta tell me, what was your first video experience like? Because this is your first video. How is it going?
how's it going? It was very, like I said before, very peaceful, which is weird because usually I'm drawing and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this needs to look good. The eyes don't look right. The proportions are off. But I've been drawing us for so long that I know what to do for the skin tones. I know what to do for the hair. I've never actually drawn 2 full body poses before, and 2 full body character poses with like these sort of elaborate outfits, and like it worked really well. You had like a fur coat, and I've never drawn a fur coat before, but it still looks good. And I think the fact that I went into it thinking like, yeah, it'll look good, it came out good. I think it looks really good. The chunky shoes, you need to find a way to get me those in real life. Yeah,
because
the chunky shoes are such a good, like, they're so good. I love them.
And they both have chunky shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about the leg warmers? Can I rock some leg warmers and chunky shoes?
I've never actually seen leg warmers and chunky shoes before I was gained references for this thing. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, that's actually like a straight up look. Like, it's actually a straight up vibe. I actually love that. I'm gonna buy some leg warmers now.
So I'm looking at the drawing, and right now we can see that you've already started sketching out the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So which one is you and which one's me?
I am the one with the ripped jeans and you're the one with the leg warmers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my new look for this upcoming spring.
I did have a few mistakes. So I'm shorter than you. In real life, I'm like much taller.
Not much taller.
Much taller. You're like 5'2".
I'm almost 5'4". I'm almost 5'4".
Whatever. And I'm like 5'6".
So you're only like 2 inches.
Unfortunately, I really want to be like 5'9", but whatever, I guess. Nothing I can do about my height.
Well, at least in the anime world of drawing, I get to be taller than you.
Yeah, you're like not way taller, but you're a little bit taller than me. And I made your thighs way too skinny. I should have been giving you bigger thighs.
You trying to say something about my...
No. It's just not, like, even my character's thighs were kind of, like, thicker and had more, like, definition in them, and I gave you, like, stick legs, so I'm sorry.
I ain't complaining. Just joking.
But overall, though, like, the hands, we all know. If you've ever drawn anything in your life and were like, I'm gonna try and draw a person, like, hands will get you every time. I've been really, like, trying with hands. I think I got them down by now, like... I could say confidently, like, yeah, I could draw hands pretty easy now. But they came out really good in this picture.
You are definitely better at drawing hands than I am. I used to, like, always do things where, like, the person's hands were...
Or put them in pockets. You can't put their hands in pockets forever.
I just draw, like, this weird-looking trapezoid thing, and that's just, like, their hand.
Yeah. But the funny thing is about the hands in this picture, I forgot that we had, like, knuckles. Like, as a human being, you have knuckles and you have, like, tendons in your hand and, like, veins and things. So when you draw a hand and you just draw, like, the creases in the fingers with the fist, it does look really, really off. So I had to figure out a way to make the knuckles look right without making them look like skeleton hands. So that the shadows had to be soft, but I think it came out great. Surprisingly, this came out really great. And I'm so proud of it. Usually I look at my art and I'm like, oh my gosh, trash. I should do it again.
You know, every artist, I think, does that. I think we're all, like, our own worst critics.
Especially now when you have, like, social media and you're able to look at so many different, like, people and all their different art styles. For such a long time, I was so obsessed with art style. Now I'm just like, I'm just going to draw and not think about it.
I think it's very important, though, that you do not compare your art to somebody else's art.
Yeah.
That's, like, one of my biggest pet peeves, because when you just said you look at your art than someone else's, I don't do that. I look at my art and compare it to my art. Like, is this as good as what I did last time, or is it worse than what I did last time?
I do that, but I also, like, social media is how I learned how to do digital art, and it's definitely one of the most, like, I think the fact that I draw every day and that I have social media is why I progress so, like, quickly over quarantine. So, I mean...
Plus, there's nothing else to do.
And there's nothing else to do. So I've been drawing every day and looking at art every single day and watching art videos. And honestly, it's, like, just looking at things and learning how they do them and, like, learning technique through looking at people's art. That's what I do. And inherently in that, you kind of can start to, like, compare your art. But you have to find the balance, honestly.
Well, I understand getting inspiration, but I'm still going to stick with don't compare your art, because that person that you're getting inspiration from obviously has a skill level that you would like to get to. So comparing your art to someone who's already established, you're just going to set yourself up for failure.
I started to paint oranges and like fruit. I'm getting into fruit, and I forgot her name, but there's this painter that I really, really got into, and the way that she does her stuff. And I've been looking at like her shadows and the way she paints and the colors, and like through painting fruit, I really realized like, wow, I don't understand color at all. Like I don't understand it at all. It's just craziness. How like I thought, oh yeah, I'm great at color. I can draw people. Like I understand skin tone. And you start fruit and you're like, wow, like there's 2 different oranges that I have to use. What? Or orange isn't just orange. Orange is also pink and red and blue, and like it's craziness. So I don't know how that was relevant, but I said it. So so you're making art. You've been doing it for a very, very, very long time. I've been doing it for literally like 8 months. So but what are some habits, some bad habits, good habits, things that you like to break, things that you're like need to amp up?
Okay, so like one of my bad habits is getting comfortable. That's definitely a bad habit of mine. I get really comfortable with a certain medium, and then I use it like all the time.
Because you're a multimedia artist.
Yes, yeah. I paint, I'm building, I'm using cardboard, foam board, scrapbook paper, construction paper, pencils, markers. You name a crafting supply and I've probably used it, except for polymer clay. I don't do polymer.
But you use Play-Doh. Like, you use Play-Doh and you made your own clay cornstarch.
I do, yeah.
You do that.
And but one of the things I do is like when I get really good at one medium, I want to use that one all the time because I know what it can do and it's comfortable. And for me, I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to get super comfortable like that. And so I have to force myself to try different mediums, which I should totally do right now because
wow. Yeah.
I'm totally in love with foam board right now. So, but that's one of my worst things that I do. One of the good things that I do is that I'm constantly challenging myself, which seems like what I just said doesn't make any sense. But I challenge myself as in the projects that I pick. Like I'm doing a storefront one day, and then I'm doing a bedroom.
Yeah, you'll do a bedroom and then a storefront, and then you'll make like a car, and
then a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And so every year I do a swimming pool, but I try to make sure it's different every year because I just don't want my videos to be like the same thing. I just change the colors.
They're definitely not the same thing. I will say, like going my parents are both artists, right? And I definitely grew up in a household where that was like a big thing. And it's so weird, like going to you for advice, because it feels like already like, well, you're already so great, so why would I even ask you? It's like, oh, she's so good at everything. But I'm definitely not a painter. I'm definitely not a multimedia artist. I think that some mediums are easier than others, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that when that one is easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I think painting is, to me, way harder than digital art. But just because I think that digital art is easier than painting doesn't mean that digital art is easy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I prefer painting over digital art.
Really?
Only because I paint, and that's the only reason why.
Man, I got an undo button. That's the only reason. Undo button, layers.
I got another canvas. Just put it in.
I can alter the hue and saturation of everything. It's just, I love working with like tablets and computers because it's like there's no reason why you can't fix something if you really screwed it up. Sometimes I would have like, oh man, I really messed this up. Time to just erase and go back, which is a great feeling.
Yeah, I want to do what you do. I mean, honestly, I look at your stuff. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I want to learn how to do that. And then I realized I'm just too lazy to sit down and do it.
I would say in terms of habits, I can't stick to one thing. Like, I feel like I can't stick to one thing ever. I love shading, and I love which is what I'm so glad I did this one thing with like the anime type style and shading, because I love shading, but I also love drawing anime characters. And a lot of times you draw anime characters, you don't need a whole lot of shading or like blending. But I love blending, and I love drawing realistic faces, but I also love like stylized people and anime. So sometimes I feel like, well, maybe I should stick to one thing. Or like, there's no way I can like do all these things. But
why do you have to stick to one thing?
I know, that because I'm like, I don't want to be a jack of all trades and master of none.
That's literally what I do.
But you are a master of crafting.
I would not say I'm a master by any means.
She's so humble, it's annoying.
Well, I'm saying I'm not a master because I mean I'm still learning. Everything I'm doing, I'm still learning. Yeah. And I'll be learning for the rest of my life when I think about it.
There's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah, I don't want it to ever be perfect because then that means I'm done.
And it means you're peaking, yeah. I never want to peak. Which is, I think that's why whenever I look at my art, I instinctively like hate it because I don't know why, but I'm just like, there's no way this is my best. It sucks.
No, see, that's not good either.
I have a very toxic teenager mindset right now. I don't know. I don't understand.
I love what you do. I mean, I don't know if that's like the mom thing because I'd be like, oh my gosh, honey, it's so
sometimes
pretty.
It does feel like, oh, you gotta like everything I do, even though you specifically don't love everything.
That's true.
You tell me like, oh, those colors are off. You never told me that before.
I'm like, you're not posting that. No.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of sketches I've done that you guys have not seen because they're like, you can't post that, Bella.
Yeah, I do monitor what you post. You know, but I'm a mom, so you know, got to do the mom thing.
Yeah.
So
I will say having your parents like monitor your social media is weird, especially when you know a lot of people that like their parents don't, and you're like, well, you get to post whatever you want, but it's whatever. Like it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
Sorry. Sorry. Helicopter parent and proud. Okay.
You're not a helicopter parent. You're just like, don't post that. Like, don't put that out on social media. That's fine.
It's like, you sure you want to do that?
So how would you describe your workflow? Like, how the way you come up with ideas and do that sort of thing?
Oh, well, coming up with ideas is easy because my audience often suggest ideas. Mm-hmm. So I always ask people like, hey, what would you like to see? And they literally write down, and I have like 1,000 different ideas to choose from. Picking an idea, that is hard.
Have you ever experienced art block?
Oh, yeah. All the time. But whenever that happens, I'll just like go to Pinterest, or I'll back in the day, I would go to IKEA.
Or magazines.
IKEA's my favorite.
I'm gonna say this right now. Pinterest is the savior of all like art. It's the savior. It's literally like where 90% of my ideas come from. But you know, inspiration.
You have to be so careful about.
You don't want to use someone else's stuff.
Yeah. You know, so when I'm looking for ideas or I'm looking for inspiration, I never look at miniatures. You know, because I do not want to take somebody else's creativity or somebody else's IP. So what I always do is I'll look at furniture stores. I was like, that's human size. Or I'll look at, you know, like home decor, or I'm looking at real estate, or, you know, houses and stuff. Yeah. I look at human size stuff, and then I say, okay, I can shrink that down. Because the worst thing in the world for me is to like steal somebody else's idea.
I would lie if I would say I don't look at people's stuff. On Instagram, like my feed is literally editorial fashion and like art styles. But usually I do look at a lot of art styles that aren't necessarily like anime-ish. Like I look at a lot of paintings and people who like do that sort of stuff. I like glossy looking paints. Like I think it's just the way that they paint, but like when it looks glossy, I don't know how to even describe that. But I do I watch a lot of anime, so I get a lot of inspiration from that. I read a lot of webtoons and comics, so I get inspiration from those art styles, like Korean manhwas and things. Like they have like fantastic art styles, and I love those. And I watch a lot of art YouTubers and things. I will say art on YouTube is like, I love listening to those videos. They're like, well, this is actually a reason why I wanted to do my video like this, because I was like, I love listening to people talk about art while they're doing art. So I was like, well, maybe I'll do that too.
Maybe we'll talk about art while doing art.
Yeah.
We're just doing it a little different because you're not actually drawing. You drew it earlier.
Yeah.
And now we're just talking.
But I can't talk and draw at the same time. I won't even get anything done. I can't talk and do dishes at the same time. I can't do anything while talking. I won't get anything done. My mouth is just like, will take over all brain function.
You know, and I have to like really remove all distractions when I'm trying to work.
You can't even listen to music.
I can't listen to music when I'm working. And which is weird because I can listen to music when I'm doing something like cleaning, or if I'm just like organizing the office. I'll put music on when I'm doing stuff like that. But when I'm actually in my creative mode, I have to have it quiet.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate quiet. There's nothing on the planet that's worse. You know when you're taking a test? I think it's from like school. It's trauma with test taking. Like, you know when you're taking a test and it's like super quiet and eerie, and you can hear nothing but like your own thoughts and like the creaks in the desk.
You don't like your own thoughts?
No. Music helps me drown out everything. And then it really, because my philosophy, well, a philosophy I'm starting to live by, which I think is a very smart one, is don't think. Don't think. Because, I mean, when I don't, it's more like don't overthink. right?
Okay.
Like when you overthink things, you tend to mess it up. And then there's like, if I overthink art, I'm gonna mess it up. If I overthink like I don't know, anything. Like school, like papers, when I'm writing a paper for school, I literally just start typing without even really thinking about it, and then go back and edit. So like you should get all the crap down and then go back and edit it. If you overthink it too much, you're gonna end up like second guessing yourself and not really getting anything done. I feel like, even like in social aspects, like if someone says something to you and maybe they're taking a jab at you, just don't think about it. Edit it, like you don't really care. You know what I'm saying?
But I can't listen to music while I'm doing, because I do so much math.
Yeah, you do.
I do a lot of math, and while I'm adding and measuring, I'll start listening to the music, and then I'll get irritated.
You get so irritated. I love Jaden Smith. Like, love Jaden Smith and his music, and I'll play it in the basement, and you'd be like, oh, turn it off! Turn it off!
I can't create!
I can't focus! And I'm like, jeez, man, chill out.
But that's my process, you know? And for me, because of my video schedule, I don't have an option to fail.
Yeah. You have to always have something happen.
I have to find a way to finish that video, because I'll get to a point where it's like, okay, this isn't working. Do I stop and do something different? Or do I just figure it out and keep going, because I've already invested like a day and a half in this project? So I really do have to think through mine. And there's like spatial things you have to figure out. Can stuff fit in this house? Will it collapse?
Yeah.
You know, is the furniture sturdy? So
I think the closest I've ever gotten to like the way that you have to work is when I build the rooms for the apartment series in Sims, and I have to like take into account the fact that she doesn't have this much space on the wall, so I can't put all these things that I want to put there. Or like I have to build the room open, and then I have to build the room closed, so that I can make sure everything will fit into each other. I think that's the closest I've ever gotten to it, and I will say that's like the most stressful way to do it. It sucks. It's like I have this bed, but I can't put it in the room because it won't fit. Like that really does suck.
A lot of times I do cheats, you know, like the bed is actually a little bit too short for the figure that's supposed to do it.
Cheats are amazing. Like,
you know,
I don't, like, when it comes to art, like, digital art and, like, illustration, I hear a lot of people say, oh, don't use reference. Or, like, you can't, like, even reference other people, like, art styles. Which is, like, especially if you're just starting out, like, yeah, use other people's art styles. When I'm learning anatomy or, like, really starting to focus on anatomy, I would, like, use other people's studies and draw other people's studies. Because sometimes seeing it already drawn really helps you to understand it.
Maybe they mean don't be, like, super derivative. I mean, because maybe that's what they
but
mean.
everything is derivative.
I know, but you don't want it to be, like, so obvious. Like, you don't want to be drawing...
you don't want to be, like, copying other people's, like, verbatim.
Yeah, be like, you did a painting that's like this.
But I've heard people say even don't use reference at all. Like, that's... How am I supposed to know
Like, you can't, like, draw your own hand?
Yeah, like, my brother literally said... He was like, draw a hand. So I used my hand, he was like, you can't do anything about reference. It's like, yeah, I can't do anything about reference. Because I see it and I draw it. I've always been like that. Literally since, like, I was really, really, really little. If I see it... and I could draw it. You know,
I'm the same way. Because when I used to paint for people, I used to do a lot of murals in people's houses. And I would, like, give me a painting and I can paint it onto your wall. And so I was literally transferring, copying like that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's... Especially when you're doing a large-scale mural.
Yes.
Like...
They were like 10 by 10 murals that I would have, like, 4 days to paint. I don't know how I did it, but I was in college. I was broke. I need the money. You made it happen.
I was broke. It happened, yeah.
But like now, I use my own house as a lot of reference. I do. I walk around my house. Like literally, my doll houses have my front door, my windows. I do use my house for reference. And I don't see what's wrong with that. What's wrong with that?
No, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So that's all the time we have because Speedpaint just stopped. So when Speedpaint stops, we start talking because we can't do this for an hour. So, as you can see, the final product is done. The very first Toya and Bella, or Bella and Toya anime poster Speedpaint thing.
I gotta say, I love it! The lights, that's a really cool light effect you did. There's like light shining on my face, light shining on your face. The locks, anime girls with locks.
Yes, the locks. Locks are like my favorite thing to draw. I love hair. Like hair is such a big part of the character, and I love our locks so much. But thank you for joining us for the very first Frog Food podcast / commentary speed paint thing. Thank you for joining me for my very first video. You will probably be here again because I have no one else to interview. So,
Oh man.
like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to follow her on Instagram at MyFroggyStuff and the Frog Vlog, and follow me on Instagram at Bella of MyFroggyStuff to see more of my art. And we will see you guys next time. Bye!